Commander Arlen stood at the edge of the observation deck, looking out at the glowing city beneath him. The city floated above the surface of Talira Station, a hub of interstellar diplomacy. Ships from dozens of planets docked here every day, carrying diplomats, merchants, and soldiers. Tonight, however, the calm surface hid a tension that no one could see, except Arlen. He glanced at Princess Solara, standing near the center of the grand hall. Her golden hair shimmered under the soft lights of the station, and her eyes, sharp and calculating, watched every guest with a quiet intensity. As the representative of the Galactic Alliance, she had the right to trust the security around her, but Arlen knew better. He had faced enemy attacks on dozens of planets, and experience had taught him that peace was fragile. "Commander," Solara said, her voice polite but firm, "you seem uneasy. Everything is under control. You don't have to worry so much." Arlen turned toward her and gave a small, tight-lipped smile. "I know, Princess, but in my line of work, control is an illusion. Better to be ready than surprised." She studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. Just remember, no one else can see what you see. Let them enjoy the night." Arlen's hand rested on the hilt of his sidearm, hidden beneath his uniform. His eyes scanned the crowd, noting every movement, every slight shift. The guests were from many different worlds, some tall and luminous, some short and stout, some with wings or gills. It was a festival of cultures, but also a gathering where enemies could hide among friends, and enemies did hide. A sudden alarm echoed through the hall. Red lights flashed along the ceiling, bathing the guests in a warning glow. Arlen's heart quickened. He didn't have to look to know what had happened. "Security breach," a voice announced over the intercom. "All personnel, respond immediately. Unauthorized forces detected in the main concourse." Arlen moved before anyone else could. He pushed Solara gently behind a decorative pillar. Her eyes widened, but she trusted him enough to stay still. Within seconds, the hall was filled with the sound of heavy boots and alien snarls. Figures in dark armor surged through the doors. Their shapes were humanoid, but their features were sharp, almost jagged. Weapons glowed as they advanced, ready to strike. Arlen drew his sidearm, moving in front of Solara. "Stay behind me!" he shouted. His voice carried over the chaos, a steady anchor in the storm. The aliens attacked with precision, but Arlen's training matched theirs. He fired carefully, taking down one attacker after another, always keeping a shield between Solara and the danger. The princess, though terrified, remained calm under pressure, her eyes taking in every detail of the battle. One of the attackers lunged at Solara from the side. Without thinking, Arlen threw himself forward. His body slammed into the alien, sending both of them crashing to the floor. The blast of energy from the alien's weapon scorched his armor. Pain flared through his shoulder and chest, but he gritted his teeth and held the alien back. "Commander!" Solara cried, fear and shock mixing in her voice. She wanted to move, to help, but she was rooted in place, seeing the danger only Arlen could handle. Arlen pushed the attacker off just as another wave of enemies charged forward. He could feel his strength weakening from the blows he had taken, but he couldn't falter. Not now. Not with the princess's life in his hands. Time stretched. Each second felt like a minute as Arlen fought, his mind running through every possible strategy. He kicked, dodged, and fired, moving with the precision of someone who had trained for years for moments like this. Sweat ran down his face, but he didn't dare pause. Finally, with a final desperate push, he managed to drive the attackers back toward the doors. They retreated into the shadows, their glowing eyes fading as alarms blared and reinforcements arrived. The hall fell silent except for the heavy breathing of guards and the trembling of guests. Arlen sank to one knee, clutching his side. Pain radiated through him, sharp and unyielding. Solara rushed to him, dropping to her knees beside him. "Commander, are you hurt badly?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I'm fine," he said through gritted teeth, forcing a smile. "Just a scratch. Nothing to worry about." Solara reached out, her hands shaking as she touched his arm. "You protected me. With your body. You could have died." Arlen looked at her, meeting her gaze. "That's my job, Princess. To protect you, even if it means risking my life. That's what I swore when I became a commander. That's what being human means." She studied him, admiration and gratitude shining in her eyes. "You are extraordinary." And in that moment, across the galaxy, far away on her throne world, someone was watching. Queen Zira, ruler of the Hazar Dominion, observed through her advanced surveillance network, her eyes, bright and calculating, focused on the human who had risked everything for a princess. She leaned forward, intrigued. "A human?" she whispered to herself. "Bold, fearless, fascinating. I want him." Back on Talira Station, the emergency teams finished clearing the hall. Guests were escorted to safe quarters and the princess was escorted to a secure chamber. Arlen followed slowly, leaning on a guard for support. He ignored the aches in his body. His mind was already running ahead, planning for the future. Solara looked at him as they moved through the corridors. "You're hurt worse than you admit," she said softly. "You need rest." Arlen shook his head. "Rest can wait. There are too many unknowns. Someone attacked us, and they won't stop here." "We have to be ready." Solara sighed, seeing his determination. "Very well, but I want you alive for the next battle, Commander. Promise me." "I promise," he said, though he wasn't certain he could keep it. Later that night, Arlen sat alone in a small observation room overlooking the glowing city. The weight of the day pressed on him, not just the physical pain, but the responsibility he carried. He had protected a life, yes, but now he wondered how many more threats awaited. The universe was vast, filled with creatures and empires, each with its own ambitions. And now, somewhere far beyond, the alien queen's attention had turned toward him. He clenched his fists, determination hardening in his chest. Humans were not the strongest species in the galaxy. They did not have fleets as vast as the Dominion, nor weapons as deadly. But humans had courage, humans had ingenuity, and as long as he drew breath, Arlen would prove that humanity could stand against any threat, even one as formidable as Queen Zira. A knock on the door pulled him from his thoughts. Solara entered, her face calm, though her eyes reflected the stress of the day. "You should eat something," she said. "You can't think clearly on an empty stomach." Arlen shook his head with a tired smile. "I'll manage. Right now I need to plan. Someone powerful has noticed us and I can feel it. This isn't over." Solara stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Then we will face it together. You are not alone, Commander." For the first time since the attack, Arlen allowed himself a small measure of hope. He had saved the princess. He had survived. And now, the galaxy would test humanity in ways no one could imagine. As they stood together, the city lights reflecting in their eyes, Arlen made a silent vow. No matter what came, he would shield those who could not protect themselves. He would fight for humanity, for honor, for courage. And perhaps somewhere deep in the heart of the stars, that courage would be enough to change the fate of countless worlds. Far away, Queen Zira smiled. She had found the human she desired, not for power, not for conquest, but for the rare spark of bravery that burned in him. And she would not rest until she had him. Far across the galaxy, on the homeworld of the Hazar Dominion, Queen Zira observed Commander Arlen through a network of shimmering hollow screens. Each screen displayed a different moment from the attack on Talira Station. She watched as Arlen shielded Princess Solara with his body, taking blows meant for her. Every movement, every act of courage impressed her. "Interesting," she murmured. Her voice echoed softly in the palace chamber, a mix of curiosity and fascination. "A human, so brave, so unyielding. I want to know more." Her advisors shifted uneasily. "Your Majesty, he is only one human. The species is fragile compared to ours. Is it wise to focus on him?" Zira's sharp eyes glinted. "Wisdom is often overrated. He represents something rare: courage, resolve, strength of will. He is unlike any human I have seen." A small smile curved her lips. "Send emissaries, observe him, test him, and prepare a personal invitation. I will meet this human." Back on Talira Station, Commander Arlen was recovering slowly. His injuries were serious. But the station's medical team worked quickly, patching wounds and stabilizing him. Even so, he refused to stay in the infirmary for long. His mind raced with possibilities. The attackers had not come alone. Someone powerful had orchestrated the raid, someone who knew about humans and their role in the Galactic Alliance. Princess Solara visited him daily. She would sit beside his bed, offering encouragement and updates about the political fallout from the attack. Every time she spoke of the guests' reactions, Arlen noticed a subtle tension. Alien eyes watching, whispers among diplomats. The galaxy had taken notice of his actions, and that attention was not entirely friendly. "You've become quite famous," Solara said one afternoon. "Reports of your heroism are everywhere. Everyone wants to know about the human who protected the princess." Arlen gave a small laugh, wincing at the movement of his shoulder. "Fame is dangerous. It draws attention from people you do not want to notice you." Solara's eyes darkened slightly. "And yet someone has. A power beyond the Alliance. I sense it. I feel their gaze on us, Commander. Something is coming." Arlen nodded, silently agreeing. Humans had survived against impossible odds before, but he knew that facing a powerful alien empire was a challenge unlike any other. Meanwhile, Queen Zira's emissaries arrived on a distant human colony. They were sleek, humanoid creatures with pale blue skin and glowing eyes. They blended easily with human populations thanks to advanced cloaking technology, observing from shadows, recording data. Arlen noticed them first. His instincts, honed over years of conflict, picked up the subtle anomalies, the way certain people lingered too long, the quiet shift in the crowd when they passed. "They're watching us," he told Solara. "Not just for security, but for me. Someone wants to test me." Solara frowned. "A human being?" Arlen shook his head. "A species, perhaps. But I think one person, someone very powerful. We need to be careful." For days, Arlen studied the alien emissaries' behavior. He noticed patterns, subtle cues that revealed their weaknesses and limitations. Humans may have been physically weaker, but their minds were flexible, creative, unpredictable. He began planning small countermeasures, diversions, signals, strategies that could protect the colony and the princess without revealing his full hand. Queen Zira, observing remotely, was intrigued. Her fascination grew with every move Arlen made. He did not fear her emissaries. He did not panic under pressure. Instead, he adapted, using logic, cunning, and courage. "Bold," she murmured. "Persistent. Clever. This human is exceptional." One evening, Arlen received a direct message via the station's secure channel. The sender was unknown, but the words were clear. "You are being observed. Your actions are noted. One of us will arrive soon. Be prepared." Solara read the message over his shoulder. "This sounds like a threat." Arlen shook his head. "Not a threat. A test. Someone wants to see if humans can face their standards, and I intend to show them." Days later, the skies over the human colony darkened. A massive ship descended, larger than any human vessel. Its hull shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the light of the sun in strange colors. The emissaries had reported back, and now Queen Zira herself had arrived. The humans watched in awe and fear as the ship landed. Its doors opened silently, and from the shadows emerged Zira, her presence commanding attention without a word. Her armor glinted with energy, and her glowing eyes scanned the crowd, finally resting on Arlen. "You," she said, her voice smooth and melodic, carrying a tone of curiosity rather than anger. "You are the human who risked himself for the princess." Arlen stepped forward, keeping Solara close behind him. "I am Commander Arlen. I protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is my duty." Zyra's gaze softened ever so slightly, a flicker of something almost human in her expression. Impressive. Very impressive. Most humans would have fled. Most would have died. But you, she tilted her head, you are unlike others of your kind. Brave, clever, determined. Arlen remained calm, his mind racing to assess her intentions. "Why are you here?" "To see if you are worthy," Zira replied. "Humans are interesting. Fragile, yes, but capable of extraordinary things. I wish to know if this is true in practice, Commander." Her words were a challenge, not an immediate threat, but an undeniable test. Arlen recognized it instantly. "You will not threaten my people or the princess," he said firmly. "If you wish to observe, you may, but do not harm anyone." Zyra's lips curved into a smile, almost playful. "I admire your courage. Very well, we shall see what you are capable of." Over the following days, Zira's presence unsettled the colony. Her emissaries monitored everything. But she also walked among the humans herself, observing their reactions, their strategies, their resilience. Arlen used this as an opportunity to study her methods. The humans were at a technological disadvantage. Zira's species had superior weapons, faster ships, and advanced intelligence systems. Yet humans had flexibility, creativity, and unpredictability. Arlen organized drills and exercises, teaching the colonists how to work as a team, using simple tools in clever ways to create advantages over a more powerful opponent. Solara remained by his side, assisting and encouraging him. "You are teaching them not just to survive, but to fight with honor," she said. Arlen nodded. "Humans have always survived by using their minds and hearts. Technology is useful, yes. But courage, determination, that is what makes a species strong." Zira watched all of this, growing more intrigued by the human spirit. Each success of Arlen and his team made her admiration deepen. It was not just his bravery, but his ability to inspire others to unite humans into a single, formidable force, despite their relative weakness. Finally, Zira spoke directly to Arlen. "You have proven much in a short time. Your species shows potential, perhaps more than I expected. But there is one test left, a direct challenge. Are you ready to face it?" Arlen squared his shoulders. "I am ready. Whatever you bring, I will face it. Not just for me, but for my people and the princess." Zira's eyes glimmered with approval. "Good. That is the human spirit I seek. We shall see if it can survive my trial." That night, Arlen stood on the balcony of the colony's main tower, gazing at the stars. The light from distant suns reflected in his eyes. He thought of the journey ahead, the challenges that awaited, the tests that would come. But he also felt a spark of hope. Humans had survived countless threats against impossible odds, and with courage, intelligence, and unity, they could stand against anyone, even an alien queen who seemed unstoppable. Solara joined him quietly, standing at his side. "Do you fear her?" she asked softly. Arlen shook his head. "No, I respect her power, yes. But fear, that is not a human trait. We adapt, we learn, we fight. That is what makes us strong." Solara smiled, a mixture of admiration and relief in her gaze. "Then we are in capable hands, Commander. You inspire not just humans, but everyone who sees you." Arlen looked up at the stars, determination burning in his chest. "Then let her watch. Let her see. Humans will not break, and I will show her what we are truly capable of." Far across the galaxy, Queen Zira observed him once more. She leaned back in her throne, her expression thoughtful. "So this is the human," she whispered. "The one who will test me, and perhaps teach me something I did not expect." Her fascination had become an obsession, and the game between human courage and alien power had only just begun. The dawn on the human colony was quiet, almost serene. Yet beneath the calm skies, tension crackled like electricity. Commander Arlen stood on a ridge overlooking the city, his eyes scanning for any signs of danger. Princess Solara was beside him, silent but alert. Her presence a steady reminder of what he had to protect. "Something is coming," Arlen said quietly. "I can feel it. Zira will test us directly soon." Solara nodded. "The colony must be ready. You've trained them well, but the Queen herself, I do not know if they can withstand her power." Arlen clenched his fists. "Humans can endure more than they know. She may be stronger, faster, and more advanced, but humans have ingenuity and courage. That is something she cannot measure in numbers or weapons." In orbit above the colony, the alien ship shimmered, a vast structure of polished metal and flowing energy. Within its command chamber, Queen Zira observed the colony's movements. Her eyes glimmered with interest. "Prepare the challenge," she ordered. "I will see if this human and his people are worthy. Bring him to me. Alive." The emissaries bowed and left, moving swiftly to the colony's perimeter. Within hours, the sky over the human settlement was filled with sleek alien ships, silent but imposing. Their presence was a clear message. The test had begun. Arlen gathered his team of human defenders. They were a mix of soldiers, engineers, and civilians trained quickly for combat. Though many were young and inexperienced, Arlen had instilled in them discipline and confidence. "We do not have their technology," Arlen began, speaking firmly to the group. "They are faster, stronger, and better armed. But we have something they do not: our minds, our creativity, and our will to protect our home. Remember that. Work together, and nothing can break us." The humans nodded, their determination matching his. For the first time, they felt the true weight of their responsibility and the confidence that they could face it. Queen Zira's emissaries landed at the colony's edge, moving with a silent, predatory grace. They tested the humans with precision strikes, probing defenses, and retreating when countered. Each time, Arlen anticipated their tactics, setting clever traps and using the terrain to his advantage. The aliens were fast and deadly, but they were predictable in some ways, predictable enough for humans to outthink them. Solara watched from a secure position, concern etched across her face. "You're taking great risks," she said quietly. Arlen shook his head. "Every risk is calculated. If we do this right, they will learn what humans are capable of without anyone getting hurt unnecessarily." The humans set up decoys, hidden sensors, and improvised defenses. Engineers repurposed mining drones into automated sentries while soldiers created ambush points using natural rock formations and high ground. It was a testament to human ingenuity. No advanced weapons, no alien technology, just clever minds working together. Hours passed, and finally, a voice echoed across the colony. It was Queen Zira herself, amplified by her ship's communication systems. "Commander Arlen," she said. Her tone was calm, almost conversational. "I have observed your species for long enough. It is time to meet directly. Prepare yourself." Arlen tightened his grip on his sidearm. "We are ready," he said. "We will not fail." Zira's ships descended slowly, landing in the central plaza. A ramp extended, and she walked forward with elegance and authority. Her presence commanded attention, and even her emissaries seemed to defer instinctively. She was both beautiful and terrifying, a combination of intellect and raw power. "Humans," she began, her eyes locking on Arlen, "you have shown ingenuity, courage, and loyalty, but can you survive when I intervene personally? That is what I wish to discover." Arlen stepped forward, placing himself slightly ahead of Solara. "We do not seek to fight you, Queen Zyra, but we will protect our people, and we will not allow harm to come to the colony or the princess." A faint smile curved her lips. "Very well. Let the test begin." Zyra moved with astonishing speed. Her hands glowed with energy as she summoned a force field, directing blasts at the human defenders. Many scattered instinctively, but Arlen held his ground, calculating her movements and leading counterattacks with precision. Though humans were slower and less powerful, Arlen used the terrain to his advantage. Narrow streets, tight corners, and elevated positions allowed the defenders to slow the Queen's advance. Improvised shields and smoke bombs disrupted her vision, and clever signals from human scouts kept everyone coordinated. The battle became a dance of strategy versus strength. Zyra unleashed energy blasts and advanced martial techniques, but the humans adapted, working together as a unit rather than individuals. Arlen directed them like a conductor guiding an orchestra, turning their apparent weakness into a strength. Solara, watching closely, noticed something remarkable. "He's not just fighting," she said to herself. "He's teaching them. Every move, every decision. He's preparing them to think, to act, to survive." Even Zyra noticed. Though her power was unmatched, she found herself observing the humans with curiosity. Each successful maneuver, each creative counter, earned her a flicker of respect. This was no ordinary human. This was someone extraordinary, a commander capable of turning limitations into advantages. "You are clever," she admitted aloud. "Most humans would have been crushed. Most would have run, begged, or surrendered. You do not. Fascinating." Arlen heard her voice and responded without hesitation. "Humans endure. Humans adapt. We fight not just for ourselves, but for each other. That is what makes us strong. Even against you." Zyra's eyes narrowed, but the faintest hint of approval showed. This human spirit. It was unlike anything she had encountered in her empire. Hours passed. The battle tested every human strength, every ounce of courage. Arlen moved constantly, coordinating, predicting, and improvising. Even when injured by minor energy strikes, he pressed on, refusing to falter. Finally, Zyra paused. She had seen enough. She looked at the humans, their faces grim but determined, their bodies worn but still standing. And she looked at Arlen, who had led them with calm authority and relentless courage. "You have passed my test," she said, her voice carrying over the battlefield. "Not by strength, not by weapons, but by heart and mind. Humans, you are remarkable." A cheer rose from the human defenders, but Arlen remained cautious. "This is not over," he said quietly. "We cannot underestimate her." Zyra smiled faintly, a gesture of acknowledgement rather than threat. "Perhaps, but for now, I recognize your worth. You and your species have earned my respect." Even as her ships lifted off, retreating to orbit, Arlen and the humans knew the galaxy had changed. Humanity had proven itself, not just to the alien queen, but to the universe itself. Solara approached Arlen, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it. You showed them who humans truly are." Arlen nodded, exhaustion and relief mingling on his face. "We did it, Princess. Together." And somewhere far away, in the observation chambers of the Dominion, Zyra watched, her fascination growing. She had encountered humans before, but none like Arlen. One day, she would return. One day, the tests would continue. But for now, she had seen something that no one could take away: the courage of humanity. Arlen looked at the horizon, thinking of the journey ahead. He had faced the alien queen's power and lived. He had led humans to victory using only their courage, intellect, and teamwork. But he knew the galaxy was vast, full of challenges yet unseen. He clenched his fists, determination burning in his chest. Humans may not have the strongest weapons or fastest ships, but they had something no one else could match: heart, will, and unity. And as long as he led them, humanity would continue to rise, one challenge at a time. Solara stood beside him, her eyes reflecting pride and hope. "Whatever comes next, Commander, I know we will face it together." Arlen smiled faintly, looking up at the stars. "Yes, together. And we will show the galaxy what it means to be human." Above them, the stars glittered, and somewhere in the distance, Queen Zira's ships disappeared into the void. The test was over, but the story was only beginning. Humanity had survived the trial. Humanity had proven its worth. And Arlen had become more than a protector. He had become a symbol. The sun rose over the colony, casting long shadows across the buildings and fields. Commander Arlen stood on a hill overlooking the city, the wind tugging at his uniform. Today would be the final test, the day humanity would face the alien Queen Zira herself. Princess Solara stood beside him, her expression firm. "Are you ready, Commander?" she asked. Arlen took a deep breath. "Ready as we can be. The Queen will test us one last time, but we've learned her ways, and we've learned each other. Today we show her what humans are capable of." Solara nodded. "Then we will face it together." Above the colony, the sky darkened as Zira's massive ship descended. Her presence was commanding, and her aura of power radiated across the settlement. The alien queen stepped onto the landing platform, her eyes immediately locking onto Arlen. "You have endured well," Zira said. "Your species is stronger than I expected. But can you survive when I engage directly? Let us see what humanity truly holds within." Arlen stepped forward. "We will protect our people. That is all we need to survive." Zira's gaze swept across the humans. "Clever, brave, determined." "Very well, Commander. Show me." The battle began. Zira moved with supernatural speed and precision, her energy weapons sending blasts that could demolish entire structures. Humans scrambled for cover, but Arlen directed them with calm authority. "Use the terrain, stay coordinated, make her work for every advantage." Though the humans lacked Zira's raw power, they had strategy, creativity, and teamwork. Engineers activated automated drones, using them to create distractions and block energy blasts. Soldiers set up clever traps, using force fields, mirrors, and high ground to their advantage. Each human acted as part of a single, unified force rather than isolated individuals. Arlen moved among them, coordinating every action. Even when struck by small energy blasts himself, he pressed on, refusing to falter. He shielded civilians, redirected attacks, and turned the terrain to their advantage. Every move showed the aliens that human ingenuity could match, and even surpass, raw strength. Zira noticed the pattern. Humans were slower, yes, but their adaptability made them unpredictable. Every trap she encountered was clever, every counterattack unexpected. Her interest shifted from curiosity to admiration. This was no ordinary species. "You are persistent," she said aloud, almost to herself. "Most would have broken under pressure, but these humans, they endure, they adapt, they survive. Fascinating." Arlen heard her voice but did not falter. "Humans fight not for themselves alone," he called back. We fight for each other. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us survive. Zira paused, considering his words. His courage, leadership, and selflessness were qualities she had never truly seen in any other species. Hours passed. The humans' energy waned, but their spirit did not. Arlen's guidance kept them coordinated, his calm determination inspiring confidence in every colonist. Even civilians contributed, using ingenuity and quick thinking to create advantages wherever possible. The battle turned into a contest not of weapons, but of minds. Zira could destroy buildings, fire energy blasts, and move faster than any human, but she could not predict the ingenuity and teamwork of a species fighting for its home and its people. Finally, after a prolonged exchange of strategy and strength, Arlen saw the opportunity. Using a combination of decoys, energy mirrors, and coordinated diversions, he led Zira into a controlled trap, a specially constructed arena in the colony's central plaza. "Now," he whispered to his team. The humans executed the plan flawlessly. Zira found herself facing a situation she had not anticipated, multiple simultaneous threats from every angle, each calculated to test her reactions. Despite her superior power, she realized she was outmaneuvered, not by force but by intelligence, courage, and coordination. Zira halted, floating above the arena. "Impressive," she said, her glowing eyes sweeping over the humans. "Your species. You are more capable than I imagined. Strength is not just in weapons, speed, or numbers. It is in spirit. It is in will. It is in unity." Arlen stepped forward, his chest heaving, but his voice firm. "We do not claim to be the strongest, but we are human. We adapt. We fight for each other. We endure. That is our strength." The humans around him cheered quietly, their spirits lifted by their commander's words. Even in exhaustion, they stood united, a testament to human resilience and courage. Zira's gaze softened, a flicker of admiration and respect crossing her features. "So this is what I have been searching for. Not a weapon, not a conquest, but courage, ingenuity, will, humanity. You have taught me something no other species could." Arlen nodded, standing tall. "Then you understand. We do not seek domination. We seek to protect, to endure, to survive. That is what makes humans strong." For the first time, Zira felt a sense of humility in the presence of a human. She had sought a test, but what she had witnessed was a lesson. Humanity's strength lay not in their ships or their weapons, but in their heart and spirit. The battle ended without further destruction. Zira descended to the plaza, her presence calm and measured. She looked at Arlen, her eyes filled with something new, respect. "You have proven yourselves," she said. "Humans are worthy, not as servants, not as subjects, but as equals in courage, determination, and spirit. I acknowledge your strength, and I will not seek to harm you or your people. Today, you have earned my respect." The humans erupted in quiet celebration, their unity and perseverance recognized by one of the galaxy's most powerful rulers. Arlen allowed himself a small, tired smile. Solara approached him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it, Commander. You protected the colony. You showed them what humanity is capable of." Arlen shook his head slightly, humility in his eyes. "We did it together. Every person here played a role. Courage is not just in one man. It is in everyone who stands up when it matters." Zira studied him, curiosity softening into admiration. "You have taught me that strength is not only measured in power or technology, but in will and courage. I have underestimated your species, not anymore." The humans looked at each other, feeling a pride they had never known. They were no longer just a colony, they were a symbol. Humanity had survived against one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and had done so with intelligence, heart, and unity. After the battle, Arlen walked among the people, offering encouragement and guidance. Civilians and soldiers alike praised his leadership, but he reminded them of the lesson. Unity and courage were their true weapons. Solara accompanied him, witnessing firsthand the admiration and respect that now surrounded him. Zyra departed peacefully, her massive ship lifting into orbit. She had been defeated, not by brute force, but by human spirit. Yet she was not angry. She was fascinated, intrigued by a species that could endure, adapt, and fight against impossible odds. "I will return one day," Zyra whispered into the communication network. "But next time, I will not underestimate humanity, and I will see if their courage can face even greater challenges." As the sun set, painting the colony in warm orange and pink hues, Arlen stood on the ridge once more, gazing at the horizon. Princess Solara joined him quietly. "You have changed the way the galaxy sees us," she said softly. "Not just humans, but all of us." Arlen nodded. "We've proven that courage, ingenuity, and unity are our true strength. That is what humans offer the universe. That is what we will continue to show." Solara smiled. "And I am proud to stand beside you, Commander. Humanity is lucky to have you." Arlen looked at her, and then at the city below, filled with humans who had survived, who had grown stronger, and who now believed in their own potential. "We are all lucky," he said. "But the galaxy will see from this day forward that humans are not weak. We endure, we fight, we survive, and we will continue to rise no matter the challenge." The stars above twinkled, silent witnesses to a species that had proven itself in the face of overwhelming odds. And somewhere, in the distant reaches of space, Queen Zyra pondered the human spirit, fascinated and respectful. Humanity had survived, humanity had triumphed, and Commander Arlen had become a symbol of everything humans could be. The galaxy had changed, and so had the humans.